Welcome to another episode of Out of the Bubble podcast. My name is Rachel Perrine, and today I'm joined by Tara Chatzakis. Tara is a life coach and helps women really find their way through life and be able to get to a position where they can manifest the life that they want to lead. So they have a real positive outcome through Law of Attraction, manifestations, and getting rid of those limiting beliefs. So I'm really looking forward to finding out some tricks and tools of how we can start manifesting the life that we want to lead. And particularly after this year of a pandemic and being in lockdown so often, I think we could all do with some more positive thinking. So good morning, Tara. Thank you so much for joining Out of the Bubble this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I know it's lovely to make all these connections, and thank God we can using Zoom during lockdown. It's just been my lifesaver, to be honest, to be able to connect with different people.
It has been quite a blessing, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, it really has, yeah. And you're based in the Isle of Wight, which is a beautiful part of the world. It's really, what's it like there at the moment during lockdown?
It's ghostly quiet, let's put it that way. It's usually quite a thriving place, because I live in a place called Cowes, which is quite a hub for yachting and things like that. And it's usually quite a busy place, but quite literally the streets are deserted. It's like a really, really dead Sunday in the middle of, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we all kind of hunker down this time around. This might be the last one for a while, fingers crossed.
Let's hope so.
Yes,
my goodness. Yeah. My daughter yesterday, she was crying last night, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?" She says, "I just feel really trapped because we haven't really done anything, obviously.
Yeah.
For like nearly 10 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I said, everyone's feeling like that, but it just hit her last night, and she was so sad, and I was like, I know how you feel, my God.
It is really hard, and I find weekends the hardest. I must admit, I was in tears on Saturday morning, because during the week I can fill my week and I'm really busy working on projects and being busy.
Yeah.
And the weekend is like, okay, other than a dog walk, what can I do today? I need to do something to get through the day, and that's when I find it the hardest. So anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, we do a lot of walking now, I have to say. We can't do anything else really, can you?
Exactly.
So just when we get to the end of the walk, we're like, oh my God, if the cafe was open, we could have had a hot chocolate or something.
That's the thing. That's the key, isn't it? That we're all missing the most, I think.
Yeah, just the little things, isn't it, that you enjoy the most.
So Tara, for people that don't know anything about you, how do you describe and introduce yourself to people?
Okay, so I'm my title as such, I would say, would be executive coach and spiritual alignment mentor. So in that, basically, I help women build strong, sustainable businesses using Law of Attraction, quantum field, mindset, meditation, working with their energies so they get their energies in alignment with their business and their clients. And that's really where it flows a lot easier. So my speciality comes into that kind of area. I'm not a traditional business coach as such, although we do look at business strategy, but my main area is energy alignment and working to manifest the best things into your life. Because once you're in that energetic alignment, the flow is just so much more, it's faster, it's more abundant, it feels different. You just know that you're in the right place and you're doing the right thing.
And have you always had an interest in this more spiritual, intuitive side of yourself?
No, not really. I had a bit like the universe gave me a bit of a slap and said, look, I'm here. You need to start looking into me. This was about in 2009. I was having like a full out sobbing breakdown type situation. I was in a really unhappy marriage, and there was nobody in the house but me, and I got a hug from the universe. So the universe gave me a massive hug, and it squeezed me really tight, and it made me feel safe and secure, and I knew that I was going to be supported, and I knew it was going to be all right. And that's the first time I'd heard or felt anything like that and knew of anything like that. So I started researching what that kind of meant, and that sort of set me off on the journey of looking into the universe and spiritual alignment and energies and Law of Attraction. So it really stemmed from that, and just building on that and using that in my life and learning, and then the rest is history, I guess.
And it's something that I think Certainly, you know, I'm 50 now, and it's something that I've become more interested in as I've got older. And it's something that I didn't really know a lot about when I was younger at all. And it wasn't until probably my mid-40s that I've started looking into it, and that whole manifestation, particularly, that's something that I really do believe in. And I think putting
Yeah.
yourself out into the universe, I think, you know, is
I,
feels right for me. But
yeah.
how do your clients, do they come to you because they already believe in that, or do you have to spend time quite often getting people to trust that process before you start working with them?
The clients that I've had usually don't have much of an awareness of it, to be honest. So I'm not attracting people because of that strand. I
Yeah.
guess they just resonate with me, and they're drawn to me, but they don't really know why, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Once you start going through it, it does come quite quickly, because it seems to click into place, and it's like, oh, that makes sense now. And they can understand what's led them to where they are and how they can make the changes to go forward. So it's not a long process, to be honest, to explain things. Either I'm really good at explaining, or people just really get it. I don't know which it is, but it's not that difficult once you start going into it. And I think a lot of people, when they start getting older, like you say, they start getting more curious about the experiences that they've had and how it can be different going forward. And they're much more confident, I think, to step out and just say, I don't care what people say about me. I'm just going to do it anyway and see what happens.
Yeah. And so what would you advise somebody, how can people make steps to implementing some of these things that can change the direction and become more aligned in their business and home life? It's not just about business, is it? It's about having these key instruments that will align everything in your life.
It is. I mean, if you're aligned in one, you're aligned in everything, basically, because they all slot into place. And especially if you're a business owner, because your business is you. So if you're in the right place, then your business is going to be in the right place, and you're not going to be fighting against it. You're going to be in alignment and flowing with it. So I think one of the first things to do is to forgive yourself, because I think we're quite harsh on ourselves to start with. You know, I should be further along than this. I should have done this before. A lot of regret about things that have happened in the past if we're not where we want to be.
Yeah.
So forgiving yourself is really important, because you can't love yourself from a place of disrespect or anger or frustration. So you need to forgive yourself for what you've done, and know that everything that you've been through has happened for you. So these are things that have been steps to get you to the position where you are right now, to get you to the place of, for example, wanting to explore the manifestation route, law of attraction, or energies in the universe. And then you've got to be really gentle with yourself and set intentions for what you do want. Because it's no point in saying, I want to, let's say if you're in your business, I want to be rich. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You know, I could give you a £10 no, and I'd say, well, you were richer than you were 5 minutes ago. So jobs are good, and off you go. So you've got to have intentions for what you want to achieve in your life, in your business, where you want to go. You've got to have quite a clear path. You don't have to have the path of how you're going to get there, but the path of where you want to go. You know, if you think of it like a sat nav, for example, you can't just say, I want to go to a shop on your sat nav, because it would just drive you around. You wouldn't get anywhere. You'd just be going around in circles. So you've got to have a specific destination, but the route can be anywhere. It doesn't matter which road you go on, it's as long as you get to the same destination.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Do you think as women we find it uncomfortable to ask for things that we want, because we spend a lot of time from an early age pleasing other people and making sure that everybody else is all right around us, and we often forget about ourselves?
We do. We put ourselves last, most definitely. And I think when we were being raised, we had things implanted subconsciously that weren't meant to be planted there, but they just kind of were. That, you know, women had to support their husbands or their partners, for example, or they had to be there for their children. And it was just a matter of, well, if you have children, you have to take time off work, and then you stay with them for a while, and you never get back into the level that you were, and that kind of thing. And that is still pretty much ingrained. And comes from simple things like children's books. You know, the mum stays at home, the dad goes to work, the dad comes home, he's knackered because he's been working all day, slouches on the sofa, mum makes dinner, just stupid things like that.
Yeah.
So kids grow up thinking, oh, well, if I'm a woman, I have to look after everybody else and put my desires and wants to one side because they're more important than me. And if I go to work, I've got to be absolutely exhausted to be making a good job. Otherwise, I'm doing something wrong. So we have all these things in our head that we've been taught, and they're in there underneath, and it's quite difficult to notice them popping up. You know, when I remember when my kids were younger, you know, always making sure they had something before me. And like now, I still feel if I really wanted like a specific bar of chocolate just for me, I'd feel guilty buying it still.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd be like,
yeah,
I'd have to buy them all one as well at the same time, just because I could.
Yeah, so I could relate to that.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
it
like
really
we don't
is.
feel that we're special enough. Everybody else is more special than us, but we have to remember that if we're not special and we're not loved and we don't appreciate and respect ourselves, then we can't give that back out. I mean, the universe is like, if you say Law of Attraction, they say like attracts like. Think of it as more of as like reflects like. So whatever I am, if I'm filled with love and respect for myself, then I'm going to get love and respect back into my life and happiness back into my life. If I don't love myself, then I'm giving that energy out into the universe, and I'm saying it's all right for that to come back to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And but that's a huge barrier for some people to overcome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you find that, have you got a mixture of men and women as clients, or is it predominantly women?
It's mainly women. I don't speak to many men, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've had a couple that have been interested, but none of them have actually gone any further than a couple of chats, because I don't know, to be honest. Maybe men don't struggle as much with it as women do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it is because we do have these barriers that we've got to overcome to even get to that point of thinking it's okay to ask.
Yes, we do definitely. You know, and it's like I say, men just automatically have been told, yes, you can do what you want, yes, you can ask for what you want, and you're going to get it. Somebody will help you with it. But we're more of the helper, which has got to change. Especially if you're in a business, you can't be the person in the background, can you, supporting everybody else? You've got to be doing it for yourself too.
Yeah. And also the flip side as well is, I can imagine that when you work with your clients, you see a shift in their mindset and in the way their business grows and the way their life changes. Are those clients really good at celebrating the end result as well? Because I think we're quite bad at owning our successes.
It's definitely important to celebrate all the small wins, and that's another thing that's important, of finding setting the intention of where you want to go. Because if you know where you want to go, and you can think, well, there's certain steps that I'm not ready for that just yet. There's certain things I might have to change, my belief in myself, maybe some things in my business, and knowing that each step that you take, celebrating that and knowing that that's one step closer, and you're closer than you were a week ago. You know, I was celebrating on Friday because I've had 2 weeks work in 2021. I was like, oh my God, it's my first 2 weeks of work in 2021. And I did it, and I'm like so excited, because if I don't celebrate the fact that it's Friday and I've done another week, I'm another step closer to my goals, then who's going to celebrate for me? I have to be able to do that myself.
So when a client comes to you, how long do they normally work with you? Does it take a long time to get these shifts to happen, or is it quite short?
I usually do 6 sessions, so it's usually 6 weeks. That's the main package, should I say, of my coaching. I have some that I do for 8 weeks as well. It depends, and it's more of the so when we're working through it and they're making the shifts, and you can see the difference in them. So it's not like just linear, it's building on everything as well. So it's going forward and up and out, if you understand what I mean, energetically. So when they get to a certain point, and we can celebrate, you didn't feel like this last week, or you didn't think like this last week, you had a different mindset, look at what a shift it's making. And that ripples out as well into the immediate family and friends and work environment, because the more confident they are, the more in control of their energy and their power, the more they can give to other people, and that raises the whole energetic vibration of the whole world up.
Yeah. And is there a common theme with the clients that you work with, that they come to you for a specific reason? Is there a common theme that they're feeling lost, or that they aren't quite sure to have that gut instinct and follow their inner beliefs? What is there a common theme there?
A lot of it's confidence, a lot of it's self-belief, self-worth. Even though they might not realize that they don't think they're worthy, there are things that they're doing, like sabotaging what they do. They could be doing things and then getting distracted, or having to put things off because of a certain reason. Procrastination is another form of self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Wait until something's perfect before they're doing it. I'm not ready for that yet. Yes, you are. Just take the action and do it. Don't worry about it. No, none of us are perfect. And if we wait until we are, we're just putting off actually doing it, because we don't feel that we're confident enough. We don't feel that we've got enough voice to give to people. We're not experts enough. We're not worthy enough. There's all sorts of different reasons, and it all boils down to how they feel about themselves, and also how they think other people are going to see them as well.
Yeah. And it's for somebody that doesn't know very much about the law of attraction and manifestation, how can they incorporate that at home? Where do they even start to even, is there a certain time of day you should do it? Is there a certain practice that you could perhaps incorporate in your daily life?
Well, law of attraction, you're doing it all the time. You're doing it, manifesting every single moment of every single day. So there isn't there's no specific time to work on it, because you're always working on it. So if you think about basically the reality that you have right now is a result of all the thoughts, beliefs, and actions from your past. They all brought you to this point. So if you're happy where you are and you're happy with what you're doing, then keep doing the same thing. If you want a different reality, you have to start changing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions right now to make a difference in the future, because it's all a culmination of things what you think about yourself, about your business, about other people. That relates to the actions that you take. So what you think promotes which action you take. If you think you're not worthy, then you're not going to take the action. And then the results you get from that, obviously from not taking the action, for example, is you don't move anywhere. And then your belief of, well, I'm not worthy, gets reinforced because, well, I didn't get any results. Well, you didn't get any results because you didn't think you were good enough. So you didn't take the action. So you didn't get the results. It goes around in a circle.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of sort of breaking that circle. And it can all start with just simply changing some of the thoughts you have about yourself. So things, if you write down, for example, some of the things that you say to yourself, like I am not worthy, or I'm not an expert, or I'm not pretty enough, or whatever it is that you say, and just change a few of those sentences, just change them to a positive, and then anchor that in to your physiology. So if you think about how you feel about yourself, let's say you don't feel that you're worthy of success. When you think about how that makes you feel in your body, on your physiology level, it's quite a numb, for me anyway, it's like a numb lump, if you like, in my solar plexus, so sort of between the heart and my belly button. That's where I can feel it.
Heavy, I would say for me.
Yes,
heavy. When I've been at that point, yeah.
Yeah, it feels really heavy, and it's a dull ache, and you makes you feel really sad. So if you're switching that to how you feel excited about something, and you can use an example of something that you're excited about just generally, and you can anchor that feeling in, and then think about the new thought. So thinking about the excitement, getting excited, and then thinking about the new thought, and thinking how excited you would feel if that was your thought all the time. Yeah. And then you can do things like have a physical anchor. So every time you do that, for example, you squeeze your thumb, let's say. and then you release it, and then you go through it again. You get into the excitement feeling, think about the new thought, anchor it in, and keep doing that. And then after a while, your body thinks every time you do that, it's going, oh, I have to feel good now. I have to feel good. And once you're in that good feeling, then more good thoughts come to you. So it's putting it like a circuit breaker in that negative thought, in action or bad action and beliefs and results, and going around that circle, just breaking that just for a few minutes a day, and you can build on that. Yeah. But whatever time of day you do it, it doesn't really matter, because you're manifesting all the time. So.
Yeah. And when you had that kind of life-changing moment, really, when you had that, you felt the universe be there and support you. Prior to that, what were you doing before?
You mean work-wise?
Yeah.
I was an English teacher.
Right.
I was living in Greece. So I met my husband, my ex-husband. He was Greek, so we ended up living in Greece. I met him at Bradford College.
Local.
Yeah, Battle of the Bands. Oh, God. So we ended up living in Greece, and we had 3 children. And I was there, living there, when that happened. And it took me a while. It changed my life, but it didn't change everything in my life, because it took me a while to get back to being the confident person I am. Mm. I was because of the situation in my marriage, I was quite a thumbnail of the person that I used to be. Mm. So I didn't have a lot of confidence. I had really low self-esteem. Mm. I struggled quite a lot to believe in myself and think that I could do more and be more and bring more as well. Yeah. So it did take a while to get through that, and lots of studying, and I wouldn't say I haven't failed at anything. I've quit at things. I don't think you can fail unless you actually quit. And I've quit many times because I've thought I can't do this. This is not, I'm not good enough. Yeah. And I still have those thoughts. I mean, they don't think they ever go, but I'm getting better at identifying them, noticing them, and kicking them out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly, I can relate to that so much, because in my 20s and 30s, I was exactly the same. I quit things that there was nothing wrong with the ideas or the projects, but it was my own self-belief. And those feelings, and you're so right, and everybody says, everyone thinks, I think, that when you say that you've got your confidence now later in life, that it's a done deal and you don't ever have to work on it. It's continuous. Those thoughts still crop up, but it's how you manage them.
Yeah. Yeah, it just takes one thing, and you think, oh, well, actually, maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe just one person's comment or no comment or whatever. It's and you're self-doubting again.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter, like you say, of catching it and saying, just hold on a minute. I do know what I'm doing. I can help people. I can show them inspiration or motivate them or whatever it is you want to do. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Looking back, knowing what you know now and the journey that you've been on, looking back at your younger self, what would you go back and tell her?
Definitely don't quit.
Yeah.
Stop quitting stuff. Because I've started so many times, my God. Don't quit, and have belief that you are worthy. You have got oh, that's my pooch barking. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
There's only somebody walking past the door, but anyway. Don't quit, and I can't say be confident, because that, like we said, that's something you still work on. Just trust sooner that the universe knows what it's doing. Because it takes me, when I understood that the universe had plans for me, and it was this direction, and when I change direction, I can feel whether I'm going in the right direction. And when I'm in flow, in alignment, and I'm going in the right direction, I get so giddy and so excited, and I feel like I just laugh like randomly in the middle of the hall for no reason, because I'm just so woo like that. That's an amazing feeling, and that's the feeling that I want all the time. So trust more in the universe to guide me the way that I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant advice, and it's something that it is something that I am much more interested in now, and I've started to to look at and work at, because I think I can see, I've talked to lots of different people about it, and it really, the impacts on people's lives, it makes a
Yeah.
huge shift in that narrative.
Yeah, it does, definitely. Yeah.
How can people find out about you, Tara? How can people find out about working with you?
Well, I'm accessible across every platform under the unique name of Tara Chatzakis. So you're not going to find anybody else. That's definite. I'm on Instagram quite a lot. I do many like videos and tips and things on Instagram. So that's quite a good place for live things if you wanted to watch them. For working with me, as I say, I do one-to-one private coaching, usually 6-week programs. You can find those on my website. Usually booking a call with me is a good idea. I do a 30-minute free call. And yeah, anywhere that you want to find me, just type my name in and there I'll be.
Brilliant. I'll put all this in the show notes as well. What surprised you the most about the journey that you've been on, and how your mind has shifted? What's been the biggest surprise, do you think?
I think actually realizing that I was responsible for everything, that I created everything. And that's taking a shift away from, being the victim, but it's also giving yourself back your power, you know, realizing that you're not powerless. There's nothing at all on this world that can influence you, change you, or predict what life you're going to have apart from yourself. And once you realize that, and you know that you're in complete control, you've taken back your power, and it gives a whole different feeling to yourself. You're not stuck of external influences creating your environment or your lifestyle. It's you, and you're taking onus on doing that. So that's something that there was a massive shift for me, that actually I could change anything I wanted to.
Yeah.
From wherever I was, it made no difference. It was all up to me. And if I wanted a positive life and a good life, I had to decide that that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. And I can imagine during this last year of the pandemic and being locked down and stuff, and having to accept that was happening, I'm sure that has helped you hugely.
Yeah, and I think last year was actually, don't shout me for saying this, but a bit of a blessing, because there's so many people that have been plodding along and suddenly realized, I don't want to do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this job. I don't want to be doing this. I want to be doing what I really love.
Yeah.
And that's a massive shift. And I can actually feel the energy this year is hugely different to last year, because people have gone through the realization of what they've been living that's not acceptable anymore. And then this year it's like, right, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to make changes and get my message out and do new things? And people are so excited, even though we're still back in lockdown. It's still a matter of, well, where can I go? What's open for me? What's on the horizon? And that is so powerful. Yeah. So people have had lockdown and all these terrible things that we went through last year, and are still kind of going through now.
Yeah.
But it's actually been a good chance for people to stop and get off the hamster wheel and actually take a look at what they're doing and think, hold on a minute, is this what I want to be doing for the next 20, 30 years?
Yeah, definitely. I know it has given me time to really think about what I really want to achieve and what I want to, and how I want to move forward. And without it, I would have just carried on doing what I was doing without having that thought process. So it has definitely.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that I've seen so much creativity come out of people about how they have adapted and had to maybe move slightly different directions. So I think this year will be a really interesting year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. People have put, like I said before, about putting a stop in that circle. That's what happened last year. Everyone had to fully stop. So they couldn't have the same thoughts, do the same things, get the same results. They had none of that. Yeah. So their thoughts were like, "Ooh, what if?" Well,
thank you so much. Well, what if is a great way to end. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Tara.
Thank you for having me.
I ask every guest the same question because I think women are notoriously bad at paying themselves a compliment. So if you were to compliment yourself, what would it be?
I am very loving and kind, and I am very good at supporting women and helping them, motivating them to see their potential.
Beautiful.
And I love doing that. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And I love the fact that you did have this change of direction, and now you're doing something that brings you joy. And I can tell that you help so many others. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to connect with you, and I shall look forward to watching you grow. Thanks, Tara.
Thanks.
Well, I hope you found Tara's talk as interesting as I did. I really enjoyed listening to Tara and everything she had to say about manifestation and how we can get rid of those limiting beliefs. And I do know from my own experience of how, when I look back in my past, those limiting beliefs really were a huge barrier to success and moving forward. And as we both said, it's not something that ever goes away, but it's how we manage them. How do you manifest things in life? Do you ask the universe? Do you feel comfortable asking the universe for the things that you want? I know each year in January, I always make myself a vision board. And part of that is for me to say, this is the life that I want to create, and this is the life that I'm building and I'm asking for. And it's okay to ask for it. As we discussed, women are notoriously bad at feeling okay about asking for things that we want in life because we're always putting other people first. So ask away. Now is the time to get those manifestations out there and to get rid of those limiting beliefs for a more positive outcome. So I'd love to know your thoughts, and I'll leave all the show notes so you can get hold of Tara. I'll be back next week with another inspiring guest.